I think that this next 12 months is going to be it's going to be a very big 12 months because you have demand should double or triple or maybe go up by a factor of 10, anywhere from 2 to 10 demand to buy on a monthly basis. And the supply available for sale will be cut in half in April. And so instead of $1 billion of Bitcoin available for miners each month, it'll be $500 million. And so it's pretty unprecedented that you would go from supply-demand balance of maybe there's $15 billion of organic demand and $12 billion of organic supply. What happens when the one doubles, the other one cuts in half, and then the price has got to adjust up? So I think this is a big 12-month period. It'll be a coming out party.
Today we are joined by Michael Saylor, who shares his insights into the price action and market dynamics for Bitcoin and why he's bullish in 2023. Saylor's positive sentiment is firmly rooted in two key factors: the upcoming Bitcoin halving event set for April and the impending approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF by the US Securities and Exchange Commission. Currently, the SEC is actively reviewing multiple applications for this ETF. Thanks to BlackRock's significant influence, there's an increasingly strong belief that, in the not-too-distant future, we'll witness the approval of at least one Bitcoin spot ETF. This would mark an historic milestone for the Bitcoin community, a moment many have been eagerly awaiting for well over a decade. The green light for such an ETF would carry profound implications for the world of cryptocurrency and would serve as the gateway to substantial institutional investments, drawing interest from sovereign wealth funds, major corporations, and even governments. Saylor envisions that this development will pave the way for large corporations to incorporate cryptocurrencies into their balance sheets. Let's get right into the latest interview with Michael Saylor and why Bitcoin is poised to revolutionize 2023 and the imminent transformations we can anticipate in the crypto market. Also, we have just partnered with our friends over at Jamie Tree Finance, who have just launched a daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part, it's absolutely free, which will cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news that you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 5,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
To be clear, if I had $1 billion right now to invest, I would buy Bitcoin. I wouldn't buy anything else. I wouldn't buy a building. I wouldn't buy an altcoin. I wouldn't buy a power company. I wouldn't buy land. I wouldn't buy real estate. I wouldn't buy a sports team. I wouldn't buy a Picasso painting. There's nothing on earth that I would buy other than Bitcoin if I had that money. I think everything else is risky. And I don't say you can't make money in those other businesses. You can. Bernard Arnault makes money in a lot of businesses I don't understand. And so I respect them all. It's just I don't advocate or endorse any of them. I think that if you're the best in the world at something, you know it. You don't need me to tell you. And if you're the best in the world at something, you should go do that thing. You'll probably make money in it. What I believe is if you're not the best in the world at something, and you simply want to make an investment and forget about it for 100 years, you buy Bitcoin and just be very careful about how you maintain the keys or how you custody it so you don't lose the keys and the like. And then the market will do the rest of the work for you. If you think about the future of Bitcoin, right, it's like 1 or 2% really understood. A friend of mine is in politics, and he said, what we learned in politics a long time ago is nobody knows what you said until you said it 56 times. 56 times. Like you would say the same exact thing 56 different times, and after the 56th time, it might register in their head what you just said, but they're not listening until then. So I believe that people in the crypto industry are very smart. And when you're very smart early in your career, you think that you should say it once or twice, and then you get bored of hearing yourself say it, and you go and you say something else. It's like everybody's got to say 100 different things because they feel like they already solved the problem, so they want to do another thing. I think it's very important to have the humility to note that most of the money in the world is control, and most of the power in the world is in the hands of people that still don't understand what Bitcoin is, and they're not going to get it until you've broached it to them dozens and dozens of times. So my approach to this is stay laser-like focused. That's why I have the laser eyes. Focus, right? And you've got to educate your investors, and you've got to educate your politicians, and you've got to educate your friends and your family, and you've got to I look forward to the time when Apple Computer will build Bitcoin into the iOS, and when Google will build it into the Android phone, and when Microsoft will build it in. But if all these super high-tech people haven't figured it out and built it in yet, you gotta allow for the governor of your state or the president or for octogenarian billionaire investors, you gotta say that it's gonna take them a while to figure this stuff out.
The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Saylor asserts this journey is just beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment, with a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs. Saylor highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem. He also suggests that BlackRock, under the guidance of Larry Fink, will lead the charge in obtaining regulatory approval for a Bitcoin ETF. This move, he contends, will underscore Bitcoin's enduring relevance as an asset and its potential as a hedge against currency devaluation.
We have a lot of auspicious things happening. We'll win them over. When the SEC approves these spot ETFs, that'll be a big educational experience, and then you'll have BlackRock and Fidelity and 100 other Wall Street firms educating all of the investors that control $900 trillion, and that'll go on for 30 years. It'll take 30 years for them to figure it out. And then at some point, all the big tech companies will follow the lead of, Cash App and all of the forward-looking mobile apps and Lightning wallets, and it'll take them about a decade. And then I think with things like FASB's fair value accounting, right now the accounting for Bitcoin is indefinite and intangible, which makes it toxic to the balance sheet of a publicly traded company. And so going to fair value accounting, which should happen sometime next year, will allow someone to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin and mark it up and mark it down like they would own a security. That's kind of a critical next step, because that opens the door for 7,000 publicly traded companies or hundreds of thousands of companies that use GAAP accounting to consider this. And right now, the CFO would get fired or the CEO would never consider it, and they will instead, like Berkshire Hathaway sits on $160 billion of cash, Apple has $150 billion in cash. They're losing money on the cash, but the only thing they can buy with the cash is sovereign debt right now because of accounting rules. And the sovereign debt yields 5% pre-tax and 3% after tax. So we're going to educate the world by working with the regulators to get all these financial products approved. That's part of it. By working with the accounting community to put in place better accounting standards, by working with financial educators and Wall Street firms, by working with the politicians, by putting monetary engineering classes into universities. We need to teach people crypto theory and monetary theory. And I went to MIT. They didn't have a class in monetary theory. They didn't have a school of monetary engineering. And so I think that lots and lots of parts of our society need to get upgraded. It's going to take time. It'll probably be a transition over the course of 10, 20, 30 years. How long did it take to introduce electricity into the civilization? Or how long did it take to introduce the automobile, or introduce radio or telephone? So these things take time, one generation, and there's a lot of work everywhere. And as William Gibson said, the future's already with us, but it's not evenly distributed. So there'll be some countries that'll be left behind, and other countries that'll leap ahead, and some companies will leap ahead. But I'm optimistic, and I think everything is developing auspiciously, and all we got to do is just keep our laser eyes on, and and everybody you meet and everywhere you go, you have to explain the promise of Bitcoin and help. We need to show everybody, every person, every family, every company, every government, every institution, everybody, how Bitcoin can solve their problem, how it makes them better, right? Because Bitcoin fixes something for everybody. They just don't know what it is, and they don't understand Bitcoin. So if we explain to everybody we meet how Bitcoin helps them, then we will accelerate the adoption at the highest possible rate, and we do a good thing for ourselves, and we do a good thing for them. So that's my view on this, and there's never ending work to do. Yeah, well, I think over the next 4 years, the time period from 2020 to 2024 was the transition from this being a retail offshore, unregulated asset to this being an institutionalized mainstream asset. And by the time we get to the end of 2024, I think that it will be an adolescent mainstream asset. So I think that this next 12 months is going to be it's going to be a very big 12 months, because you have demand should double or triple or maybe go up by a factor of 10, anywhere from 2 to 10 demand to buy on a monthly basis. And the supply available for sale will be cut in half in April. And so instead of $1 billion of Bitcoin available for miners each month, it'll be $500 million. And so it's pretty unprecedented that you would go from supply-demand balance of maybe there's $15 billion of organic demand and $12 billion of organic supply. What happens when the one doubles, the other one cuts in half, and then the price has got to adjust up? So I think this is a big 12-month period. It'll be a coming out party.
Saylor challenges the conventional macroeconomic metrics, asserting that these metrics are often manipulated to paint a specific narrative, like labor statistics and inflation figures, which are selectively measured to create desired effects rather than reflecting the true state of the economy. In this context, Bitcoin emerges as an alternative, detached from the manipulations of the conventional economic sphere. Saylor also highlights that established corporations like Apple, Amazon, and Google will use their established relationships acquired over decades to swiftly acquire substantial amounts of Bitcoin through a spot ETF, bypassing the cumbersome processes involved in procuring the actual commodity. This disparity underscores the transformative power of cryptocurrencies in traditional financial institutions. Michael Saylor underscores the importance of embracing digital currencies as the economic landscape is changing rapidly, and urges investors to leverage Bitcoin's potential to secure a more prosperous financial future. What do you think about the latest interview with Michael Saylor? And how do you think Bitcoin's trajectory in the coming months will impact the crypto market and the world of investing? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.